Big Z Reviews. Mary, Queen of Scots is a period drama about the kind of history relationship of Mary Stuart and her cousin Elizabeth I, Queen of England. And, how they clash and how the tragic kind of story of both of them. And I was pretty interested by it. I enjoyed it a decent amount.
My dear cousin Elizabeth, I hope we might meet in person, that I might embrace you. But ruling side by side, we must do so in harmony, not through a treaty drafted by men lesser than ourselves.
My dear cousin, let our nations cherish each other as we would, two kingdoms united.
So going into this movie, I had a little bit of an understanding of the history of it. But at the same time, it's like, I know it's history, and I know, people know what happened with it. But it's kind of stupid that at the very beginning of the movie, it kind of opens up like a flash forward where they're about to behead and marry Queen of Scots. And now you get to see what got to there. And I don't like when movies do that generally. I rather would just have it start, at the beginning. But, once it does that, it's, like Saoirse Ronan plays Mary Stuart, and I really liked her as this character. Like, she really embodies this queen. And if you couldn't tell by the name of the movie, this is really her story. But they also have, her counterpart as Queen Elizabeth, played by Margot Robbie. And I like what they do with her character, too. Like, she's not like a straight villain. She's more of like a tragic character as well. And you get to know lots about her, but you don't know as much, I think. Even all of them, they don't really go too much into what they're truly thinking. Like, but, I enjoyed the movie a lot. I mean, it was a little slow at times. And it had the problem some movies do when they try to cover, like, the whole life of a historical figure, where there just kind of jumps forward a lot. And, but they do good stuff. Like, one thing, they don't really age Saoirse Ronan at all, but they age Queen Elizabeth a lot. But then she has stuff going on with her that changes how she looks. And, I do like how they did that. Although I think there's even more to it. I think like, she got the pox and her face got all messed up. And she used that, and all the paintings we have of her in that white makeup and the red wig. That's caused that. But I think that, like, it was something like the paint she was using was, like, made from lead, and it gave her lead poisoning or something. Well, they don't really cover that much, but I think there's, like, stuff that happened with that, too. But, like, as a whole, this movie, like, directed by Josie Rourke, it is beautiful. Like, I couldn't help but, I really like fantasy books. One of my favorite series is from Robin Hobb, like Fitz and the Fool, and there's like a bunch of trilogies and stuff. And they, in that world, how they filmed like the castle scenes with Mary, like in Scotland, it reminded me of that world in the books. Like, I was like, I was thinking, I would, if they could do a version of this in that world, and I would love it. And I do know, I like the court intrigue stuff, and a lot of those things are kind of really interesting. It's too bad this whole movie's like all the men hate the women leaders, and they kind of try to get rid of them. And some of that is a little over the top, but, that's I'm sure that is what happened. And, I loved all the costuming and all the makeup and all the period clothing. And it looks really good. And some of the armor they do, it looks great too. Although, like, I think that they kind of mix the ages of the armor. Like, it looks like it's a little before this time, maybe. And then they kind of mix stuff up. But the only thing that is kind of odd is that, like, almost everyone wears black. Like, all the nobles wear black. And everyone, like, they only color wear maybe some blue or browns. Until every once in a while they have, like, they'll have a dress that is different colored. But, their sensibilities back then, their taste was very different than our taste. Like, if you look at the different paintings and things from them, they a lot of times wore absolutely garish colors. It was kind of like almost the opulence. They, as a sign of their wealth, they'd wear like crazy colors and crazy different outfits. And it seemed too much like all the nobility were wearing the same exact thing. And then, like, I think they're trying to make it so that, the two queens stood out more. But if they went too dark with it. Like, everyone wore dark clothing. And that's the only thing I didn't love about the costuming of it. And, this isn't an action film, but there is, like, one sort of battle. But it's not filmed like a battle, really. It's more filmed about the drama of the characters. Because, that she has a half-brother that it was pretty much hoping to rule in Scotland until she came home from France after her young husband died. And, like, there's, like, strife between them. And that's, like, the Queen Elizabeth tries to get them to have a civil war and stuff. And a lot of stuff they did, like, a lot of the intrigue was interesting. There were some thrilling moments. But at the same time, it's too much like, they attack her, she attacks back. They attack her, she attacks back. Like, it didn't really get too much into the developing or how she actually did some of the stuff. Then, like, it's kind of frustrating, too, because, it's history, but it's frustrating where to have this great victory, and then she'll just let the nobles take her out, or they let the nobles kind of defeat her. Then she'll have a great victory. Like, the way they do it is kind of so back and forth. It's kind of frustrating. Even though I assume that that's what happened. But, still, I did really like the acting from everyone, but especially the two queens. And when there's like, they don't, for most of it, it's like they don't meet, they send paintings to each other. But, like, the kind of climactic event was a little bit too goofy. But, I like what they did, it's interesting. As a whole, I did really enjoy it. It's, as a period drama, it has what you'd want from a period drama. Like, I liked it a lot, but I didn't love any of it. Probably give it like an 8 or it's like a 7.75 out of 10. It's good, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it unless you really like period dramas like this. But thanks for watching. You can check out the other playlists around my head or subscribe to me in that Z over there. See you next time. This has been a Big Z movie review. Thanks for watching.